Alright everybody, you know what time it is. It's that time of year again, for the Gone with the Wind Awards. Second annual, that is to be exact. Last year we let you decide what you wanted to see as the best of the year. Now, you're going to actually see that again this year for 2019. Forgot to announce it in the actual show, so I'm doing it now, right before you watch this episode. Right before that music plays, you will be hearing my sweet, dulcet tones announced to you. The Gone with the Wind Awards will begin voting on Oscar nomination day. The list will be out, and you can vote and decide what you believe to be the best of this year. Have fun, and I'll see you guys on Oscar nomination morning. Rocket Man is a better movie than Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a hot take. Just wanted to let everyone know that. This is Gone with the Wind. Cue the music. Hey everybody, welcome to Gone with the Wind. I am your host, Manning. This is the show with it about This is the show about award shows. There we go, where we talk about, you guessed it, award shows. We have a littler panel today, comparison to what we've had from weeks prior. And yes, you heard me beforehand. Rocket Man is far superior than Bohemian Rhapsody in almost every way, shape, or possible. Because I finally saw it. So, Amy, including the lead performance. Yeah. Anyway, we have Ryan here.
That's true. You both have me, and that movie is better.
It is infinitely better. Well, yeah, I'll go with infinitely. And then we have someone else who's also seen Rocket Man, Malcolm.
It definitely is really better.
Wow, look at that. So by all definitions, this should win both Best Actor, both sound categories, and what was the fourth one? Editing. It should win, maybe not film editing. I can't.
Oh, is this the third definitive stance that we have taken? Gone with the Wind is anti-Nazi, we're anti-slavery, and we are pro
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man is better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think we all listen. We're gonna start off real fast. I'm gonna state it is better in almost every way, shape, or form. Mainly because they actually use the songs effectively in this film instead of it just being a throwaway sequence. In my mind, I thoroughly enjoyed the musical aspect of this. Dexter Fletcher, I believe, is the name of the director, right?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. There actually was a vision and a direction to this, which I appreciated and enjoyed. And Taron Egerton, man, he's so good as Elton John. I can't wait to see what else that he does. But I watched Rocket Man over the holiday break. So what did you guys watch over this holiday break that we were gone for a week?
I watched The Two Popes. I thought it was fine. I wasn't overly. I mean, the nominations are deserved for it, so yeah.
Well, I guess, and I believe also we both saw this as well, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's quickly take a pause in a minute. Let's kind of go through a rapid pace about some of these movies and our opinions on them. Malcolm, you merely perceived it to be fine. Why? Why is this?
For me, it just. I felt like it dragged. Because I mean, I ended up watching it in bits and pieces, and I just didn't connect with the story much at all. But just yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually agree. I watched it in bits and pieces as well too. I think it's fine. It is, I believe, a movie that is anchored by two really, really great performances. And the rest of it's just kind of there. I hate the cinematography in this movie so much. Well, there's some great shots, but the camera kept zooming in, and that really, it was so small. It's such a small detail, but it kept throwing me off and kept thinking, I am watching a movie. I am not experiencing this. Is literally just a pseudo documentary that I am not fully enjoying by any way, shape, or form. And that just kind of bugged me to no end. But I think the performances were great. Price and Hopkins, if either of them get an Oscar nomination, I won't complain. I think they are great. And if it gets a screenplay, awesome. But that's the only thing I would be like, this is not phenomenal by any way, shape, or form. But that's just me. They're great. They're really, really good. Hopkins just continues to impress me, even after how many years of being in movies. He just has this effortlessness in how he acts. It feels so natural, and I think Price also managed to get that as well. Because I forgot he can act as well. Because he was fantastic in The Wife. So I'm down for him to get recognition in some capacity. But anyway, what did you think, Ryan?
I really, really liked The Two Popes.
Ooh, explain, tell us.
I think that, this is another one of these, like, I think this is Netflix is probably their second best movie, I think, that I've seen.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I
don't remember.
I haven't seen Beast of No Nation. Maybe that's better. I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But I think that it's like, this is the kind of movie, again, that I want to see on Netflix. These like really well told, well acted stories that have something interesting to say and something interesting about them. I think that this was like a kind of a cool look at religion, and it treated its characters with respect. It wasn't the movie that I expected it to be when I first heard about it at all. But it was very contemplative. It treated these men with the sort of respect and reverence that I think that office deserves. And explored an issue that, and like, I don't know if this strikes me necessarily as true in any way necessarily, but maybe. I mean, it'd be cool if it was, but like,
oh yeah, it would.
But it's very like, it's just very. I think it's a thoughtful movie. I wasn't prepared when I started watching it to be as much in foreign languages, or as much as true languages, I guess I should say, because it's a certainty that these guys would be speaking in either German or Italian or Spanish a lot more than they did English, and they do in the movie. And that certainly made a lot of sense. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a very cool choice. Nice. And I thought it had some great shots. Like the cinematography when they're talking in the Sistine Chapel is really, really beautiful. And I just think overall that it's and certainly like Pope Benedict the 16th gets a little bit more flack of the recent popes, so to speak. People view him as kind of the bad pope, so to speak, of recent eras. And I think that this did a nice job kind of dealing with that figure in a way that was like not that recognized the kind of follies that the guy had, or that the guy might have, while still exploring the very likely good-natured person that he would be otherwise. And again, obviously, I don't know Pope Benedict, so I can't necessarily say whether he is that type of person or not. But it struck me that this felt like a very nice, real portrait of him. So I had a really good time with it.
And as always,
the performances were outstanding.
Oh yes, I concur. But as always, Ryan gives the most thoughtful and well thought out answer out of the three of us. And man, yeah, no, I guess the thing that cinematography really bugged me more so is just that they relied on that quite often when they cut from a stagnant shot to that. And it just kind of like, it's not a style I like at all.
For sure.
And they did that a couple times in another movie we'll talk about later that kind of took me out of the movie. But you're right. The thoughtful nature that they presented these two individuals as flawed, while at the same time being sincere in what they wish to accomplish. They showed them as humans. I love, there's a line in there where they talked about how something about them being merely man. They may be God, but they're not God. They're not God, but they are merely a man with a high position. They mentioned it somewhere in the third act, but I can't recall exactly. But it did speak into, I think, the strength of the screenplay in the dialogue specifically. The dialogue is what really drives this movie, I believe. While the stuff that happens around them is inconsequential. I mean, it's consequential for how the story progresses, but it's more about the scenes that these two guys are in and how they play off each other, which is why the performances are so good. And yeah, I think I am a little overtly harsh just because of cinematography. And I do agree the Sistine Chapel in and of itself is utterly breathtaking. And I think they captured that well. It's just some of those shots I think really took me out of the movie, and that really was detrimental, I believe, to the overall experience for me personally. But that's just me being a nitpicky guy who works in news and is told never to zoom in. But yeah, that's just me. But I concur. It is a great movie, and I will not be opposed that these other performances, these two wonderful performances, are recognized in some way, shape, or form. BAFTA. I think BAFTA, if anything, right?
Yeah.
I could see that, maybe, for the two, for Hopkins and Price. When are the BAFTAs, actually? When are those nominations announced? I'm gonna...
Since I have the list up.
Oh.
The BAFTA nominations announced. Round 2 voting begins Tuesday, January 7th, 2020.
Okay, round 2 voting. So that means hold up.
Nominations announced.
Oh, okay. I was
January
like, wait
7th.
a minute, hold up. You said round 2 voting. I'm like, wait, what's this first round?
That's what the whole thing says. BAFTA nominations announced, round 2 voting begins.
Nope, you're right.
Actually, it says beings, but whatever. I'll ignore that IndieWire has a misspelling on the website.
Oh, IndieWire. Wow. Okay, so that one's even more right around the corner. Oh wow! So by this time next week, we will have the BAFTA. I've totally forgot about that.
The PGAs and the DGAs both have that same day. So
and what in the world? How are they all in one day?
And the WGA is on that same
day. What in the world?
So,
they're all in one day? We might have to have a special, guys. Holy cow. That's crazy. Okay. Well, we'll quickly touch on that later after we talk about the movies that we've seen. Ryan, what are some of the movies you have seen that maybe we have all seen, or maybe more than one of us have seen?
Well, I think a couple of us saw Bombshell. Which I saw.
And
do we want to pause and talk, or just wait?
No, we'll pause and talk a little bit. We won't get into as depth since not only two of us have seen it, but we'll go ahead and give our opinions. So take it away.
I liked Bombshell. I thought it did as good a job as it was likely to do with its subject matter. I think this is another performance-driven movie, and I think that Charlize Theron did a particularly good job with Megyn Kelly, and I thought that Margot Robbie like her character is a combination of people in real life, and she plays a very real type of person. And I think that it was done well. And I think that this movie treated conservative women a little bit better than I expected it to, which made me happy. And overall, I think that it demonized the right people. But it may be, obviously it's always weird watching a movie that so many of these people from the real world, and you have varying opinions on them based on that. And it just struck me that I was like, okay, well, I don't know how much this person is like this, but okay, there wasn't anything supremely offensive in this movie in terms of its portrayals of people. So I think that it passed the Vice test, so to speak. And overall it was entertaining. It had levity where it needed to, despite its difficult subject matter, and wasn't afraid to tackle a difficult subject matter when it had to. So I thought it was pretty good.
I 100% agree with Ryan on nearly everything that he said. All I can add to that is I do concur. The performances, particularly Theron, who you had mentioned prior that she looked like Megyn Kelly, and I was like, yeah, you're right, she does. But what really got me was her voice and intonation of how she spoke. As someone who has grown up with grandparents who had Fox News on the entire time, I know what Megyn Kelly looks like and sounds like. I was convinced. I was very much convinced. And Theron had a great way that I think is akin to what Christian Bale did last year with Vice. Was it last year or the year before?
It was last year.
It was last year. Okay. Years, actually, no, it was 2 years ago. Because, 2020, guys, jokes. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was bad. And then she has the fantastic way of disappearing into a role. And Robbie does just kind of a great, as you're right, as an amalgamation of people. Do we know the three people that I know? It was 3 people or 2 that she was an amalgamation of, but I can't remember.
I think that they were keeping that secret.
Okay, all right, sure. All right.
I thought they were, but I don't know.
But yeah, I do appreciate the fact. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say take that with a grain of salt, just because that's what I thought I read, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I was trying to look for it, but yeah, most of the supporting cast, those side people felt like sometimes caricatures of themselves, which was fine. They got the joke they needed to get in for that scene, or they needed to do something otherwise, and that was fine because some of these people, I don't have much love for. Some of them, I have respect for. So it was just kind of this. Overall, it didn't feel as political as Vice. And I appreciated that, which that's a nice word of saying it. And I also appreciated the way, specifically the beginning, how Theron's character, how they gave us exposition. And I think that was a really nice touch of how she brought us into that world for Theron for Fox News. And I think that was well done. But overall, yeah, I think it was good and performance driven, and 100% agree.
And I think that this movie, just to throw in like 2 last quick comments. One thing is that there's a really great scene with Theron's Megyn Kelly and her husband in a car arguing about the situation that I think humanized this movie in ways that, like, a movie like Vice, to take it back to that again, that it just doesn't have, because it doesn't care about the nuance of anything in the situation, or what the situation actually was. It's just trying to paint a political picture, whereas this movie, I think, has more on its mind that, like, violence against women is bad, and to be damned with whatever the politics of this are. Like, clearly Jay Roach is of the political left, so it's not like these are unlikely to be his favorite people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he treats them with respect, and that's good. And I was just going to follow on your comment about Megyn Kelly. At risk of losing us viewers, I'm a bit of a Megyn Kelly fan. And I think that, like, you're right. The voice was so spot on. It was scary.
Yeah. Listen. I say, some of her comments aside, I have great respect for her. So we've lost viewers, Ryan, but that's okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, movies that we've seen. One that I have also seen, this recently, and those who know me and followed me on Twitter, I saw Little Women. And I am a huge Louisa May Alcott fan, and I'm a huge Little Women fan. I love this film. This film is so good. Ryan, you also saw this, right?
I did, yes. And
Malcolm has not seen it yet. Malcolm,
I just haven't had the time. It only literally came out here on New Year's Day.
I'm giving you a hard time, and I'll continue until you see Little Women, because this movie is kind of, I don't know Ryan's opinion. I know that he really, really liked it. Perhaps loved it, were his words. I thought this movie was pure magic. I have seen the story done countless times. I countless like 3 times, so it's not really too much. But in a way, this felt fresh. But also familiar. It was like a warm blanket that I had just discovered again for the first time. And I was enraptured by both the performances and the way that Greta Gerwig tells the story. The editing is non-linear in this movie. There is a through line and how they go back and forth with time, but it's sequenced in a way where I didn't get lost once. I was understanding the themes she was presenting throughout, and plus there's obviously just, like, a color in the way that she shoots it between the past and the future, or the present and the past, and that kind of also helps you keep an eye out for everything. And I think this was fantastic. I was about to say Theron. Nope. Ronan still continues to be one of my favorite actors working today. I know Brooklyn may not be Ryan's favorite movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I adore what she brings in most of her performances. This raw energy and just sincerity to the role as Jo Mars specifically. And I just kind of love the story of Little Women, and this kind of just made me fall in love with it just a little bit more. Yes, I've seen this done multiple times, but this way that Gerwig presented it, and the fact that she is a fan of this work, she wanted to do this since she was a little kid, it kind of just speaks to the way that this was presented. And Pugh again impresses me so much. Florence Pugh, you are too good this year. And Chalamet, love him and what he does. And those are my 3 favorite performances that we were given. And Emma Watson, great. I think she was immensely better than Beauty and the Beast, but that's just me. And she was a better Belle in this than she was in Beauty and the Beast. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter. And the cinematography is great. Production design is fantastic. I don't see many movies twice just because of time's sake now that I'm full-time job. But if I had to see another movie besides Parasite twice this year, it'd be this one. I'm sorry, that's me rambling for a little while. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as you say, I loved this movie. I'm not as much of a fan of this original story. And it's not that I don't want to say it like I don't like it. I like the story. I just am not as into it as you
yes,
are.
100%. The only reason I'm as into it is because I grew up. Yeah, that's the only reason.
I've seen the 90s movie. I've read excerpts from the book, but I haven't read the book. But I thought this movie was really beautiful, and it was really beautifully told. I thought the performances pretty much across the board were fantastic. Echo your thoughts wholeheartedly about Florence Pugh. Girl should get nominated for an Oscar, God willing.
I'll take any of the performances she gave this year.
You know, I think that, yeah. Emma Watson was pretty good. Eliza Scanlon, actually, like low-key, was really amazing in this movie, and is not getting enough attention. I was jokingly thinking this is not true, but like I jokingly had moments where I was like, oh well, Saoirse Ronan is my least favorite person acting in this movie, but that's not to say she was bad. She was good. Overall, the movie is just fantastic, and I love the characterization, and Greta Gerwig brought a lot of humanity to the story. It was moving, it was beautifully shot, it was warm, it was cold, it was just everything, and was really, really powerfully done. Oh God, what's his name?
Chris Cooper, Timothy Chalamet.
Chris Cooper, that's the one.
Wasn't he so good?
he was great. Like,
I know.
No one has mentioned him. Like I didn't even really know he was in this movie until he like appeared, and I was like, whoa, Chris Cooper.
Yeah, I know.
And he was
surprised.
and Timothy Chalamet was also really good, and I think that he's not getting enough. And like, granted, he's in a murderer's row year, so it's not like it. But in like previous years, like I feel like this performance would get more attention than it is. But in any event, great movie. I hope that lots of people go see it. Yeah, because I think this is Greta Gerwig's best movie.
I agree. Even though, wait, has she only done Lady Bird?
It's a lot better than Lady Bird.
I love Lady Bird. Well, I really like Lady Bird. I love this movie. This is far superior. And that's good. Every movie should be better than the last. As a director, you learn and you grow. And I think she grew immensely with this one. She knew what she wanted, and she seized it. And she added and expanded upon some things, as in a la the Amy and Lawrence love story that I appreciated so much, because that's been my biggest complaint with the Little Women story, is how weird it always was. And I think she did a phenomenal job of just expanding that.
Yeah,
because
although he solidly flirts with like everyone in the family.
You know, he does. But
like, come on.
Okay. And okay. In his defense, he's a flirty boy. He's a very flirty boy.
He's a flirty boy with 4 girls living next door. What else is he to do?
Listen, the man doesn't have anyone else, men his age besides his tutor, and his tutor married one of those girls. So he's limited.
I mean, if Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, and Florence Pugh lived next door, it would be hard not to flirt with one of them.
Unintentionally, it's just like, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. You're all fantastic. Anyway, Little Women is fantastic. I'm not using fantastic again. Little Women is exceptional. Please go see it. If you have any inclination to the story, or even if you don't have any attachment, I think it is one of the warmest stories with a lot of darker stories this year. I think this is one of the more, as I said, and I'll use the adjective again, warm stories of the year. And I think I would go see it. Also, that scene, I think, was Eliza and Saoirse at the beach. That's a great scene. That is just them talking. That's a great underrated scene. Anyway, moving on. Malcolm, again, what have you seen? Tell us. Wait, hold up. Actually, no, you go ahead first. Then I want to hear Ryan's take on a disaster of a film. Malcolm, what have you seen?
I mean, you'd already asked me. That's where we got into discussion of the two popes. I'm pretty much yes.
Well, just wanted to clarify before we moved on. Anything else? That's it. We're good?
Yep.
All right. So, Ryan, you saw Cats. I'm so sorry.
I did. I'm going to run down fast thoughts on a few other movies before we get to
go
Cats.
ahead. Go ahead.
If that's okay. So, Where'd You Go, Bernadette was better than I thought it was going to be. But after the Golden Globes, we're going to forget about it. Hustlers, really, really good. I was surprised pleasantly.
See it.
Jennifer Lopez, 100% is deserving of all the attention that she's getting.
Wow.
The Report. Adam Driver, really good in this movie. Another movie that's kind of unfair to John Yoo, but whatever. It's actually not a bad movie. It's definitely one worth watching. Judy, which is really extremely overrated. Who's Your Face? Renee Zellweger is fine, but like The Wife, this is a stupid performance that shouldn't get nominated, but is because it's a stupid movie. And now we get to Cats.
Well, first off, ouch, you're hurting me over there, Ryan, with those Judy comments, but please go ahead on Cats.
So Cats. I went and saw Cats last night because I figured, it did get a Golden Globe nomination for a song. And I was like, okay, well, I might as well go see it for the purposes of these viewers. To inform you all that Cats should not get your money. Do not go. Watch this at home if you feel like watching the train wreck, because this movie is exactly as bad as you think it's going to be. Like, there's really nothing redeeming about it. Like, there's a bunch of cat puns that aren't like exactly very good. There's not really, and Memories is actually kind of a nice song. It's kind of like a nice song in what is a bad musical. And I hadn't seen Cats in years, so I kind of forgot most of what goes on in Cats. So just kind of like my reintroduction after a long time. And I have to say that like it's striking to me like how poor it is and how every song sort of sounds the same, except Memories, which is different. But yet Jennifer Hudson, who is a very good singer, like only has one moment in that entire song where she's good, because the rest of the time she's like, her character is supposed to be holding back tears as she's singing it. So she's like singing it super nasally, and it's like really flat and sharp and kind of all over the place. And like, I was baffled by like how this movie was put together, and like who's there. This Francesca girl who plays like the lead cat, like she's good-ish. Like she's just like kind of that annoying musical character who's like always just sort of like naive and smiling and weird. But otherwise, like her voice is good. She can clearly dance okay. But like Rebel Wilson was terrible. James Corden was terrible. Taylor Swift like is bare, like she makes no impact on this movie. Judi Dench can't sing. Idris Elba can't sing. Oof. And like he was cool when he was being a villain, but every time like he had to like do something, he was not cool anymore. And overall, it was just like overall, like it was clear like who the people who are in musicals were and who were the people who are not in musicals were, and like none of it saved. Like everything was ridiculous. Everybody in the theater was laughing throughout this movie, even though there's like nothing actually funny in this movie. It's just laughing at the ridiculousness of the movie that you're watching. And like I seriously considered walking out 3 times. I wound up not doing that, but I think there are between 5 and 10 moments where one would not be unreasonable in their choice to walk out of this movie, because it's just it really is genuinely that bad. I'm shocked this movie exists. And yeah, so don't go see Cats. It doesn't deserve it. And Tom Hooper, this was trash. I don't know. Like, this is next level trash.
Wow. Yikes. Okay. So, but how is Ian McKellen?
Oh God, another bad one.
Oh no, like, not Ian.
No. Oh God.
Did anyone give a semblance of a good performance in here besides, the one you mentioned prior?
Francesca, who's her face, is the only person that's like sort of okay.
Jessica Hayward, I believe.
Yeah, she does what she's asked. She does what is asked of her. Like, Magical Mr. Mistopheles is, I guess, okay. Like, he's fine.
I've never seen this. Who is that? Mistopheles? What is this? This is isn't that like the devil?
No, he's the magician cat. I don't know. Where is he? I'm trying to find him on the list. They all have like really stupid names.
I mean, I know
Laurie
Davidson.
Laurie Davidson. He's okay.
I was right. Mistopheles derives the name from the demon Mistopheles. So that's wonderful.
Like, the villain's name is called McCavity. Like, it's not exactly. Which is Idris Elba's character.
Listen, I knew this film. Excuse me. I knew this. The stage performance, this musical, is weird. I didn't know this movie would be. I knew it'd be bad, but I didn't know it would be this amalgamation of just atrocities.
I don't understand how this movie exists. Like, and I also don't understand how Andrew Lloyd Webber writes Phantom of the Opera and then writes Cats. Like that. These are things I just can't explain. And
he was obviously not well when he wrote this. I mean,
that's maybe fair.
So Razzies. How many Razzies does it get?
Oh God. Given how the Razzies are, like, I feel like this could be nominated in like almost every category.
I'll find a way.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's going to get like a bunch of ridiculous nominations, right? Like, and how many is it going to win? Like, maybe a couple at least.
Because the Razzies are very
I haven't seen a ton of like the worst movies from this year. Like, I've heard The Fanatic is really terrible. And I definitely missed that.
See, the big thing is when I don't want to see actively bad movies, because why would I waste my time trying to see that? Cats was the exception because it was just this cultural force that just happened because of one bad trailer. And then here we are. All right, so
I love how the Letterboxd friends I have, like, everybody's given it 1 star or half star except 2 people, one of whom gave it 3.5 and one of whom gave it 3. And
in what defense?
I think given enough guesses, one could pick out who those 2 people are. But I will not throw them under the bus.
I was about to say, I would love to hear that off the air. Okay, any other movies? Go ahead.
I mean, in that regard, there may be people who really like the actual musical Cats, and thought it was a faithful sort of adaptation of the musical itself.
Mm-hmm.
I was
walking into the theater, the ticket taker asked me, "Do you expect to like this movie?" To which I told her no, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, because it's terrible. I love Cats, and my boyfriend and I walked out because this movie is terrible." So I don't know how much the musical folks are necessarily getting on board.
Oh, okay. Because I would love to hear someone who has seen the musical and knows the music, their opinion on this, and they just gave it to us.
Knows it well, yeah. So,
jeez, okay. All right, well, those are the movies we have seen. We've seen more, but we're just gonna kind of contain it in as much as we can for now. Those are the bigger movies that we have seen. Again, saw Rocket Man, loved it. I would not be opposed if Taron Egerton got an Oscar nomination on principle alone. But he's good enough performance to get one, so I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so before we begin with our Golden Globe predictions and everything else apparently that's happening next week, a nice video was shared by Ryan and explained about Father Deakins. Blessed be his name. The Saint Deakins himself, one of the greatest cinematographers of our time, has gotten nominated not once, not twice, but I believe the number was 13 times? Or was it 12? I'm forgetting.
13 sounds right.
13. I'm about to say 13 nominations and has won once. So 13 nominations and 1 win. That win being for Blade Runner 2049. which deservedly so. Fantastic cinematography. He almost can do no wrong when it comes to things that look good. Hey, look, The Goldfinch. We all remember that movie, right? This past year. I mean, we haven't seen it, but we remember it exists, right?
14 nominations.
14. Okay, well, I was close, but no cigar. He kind of showed us what won against Deakins and what he was nominated for that same year. So I'm going to quickly, before we announce the nominees for the American Society of Cinematography Award, which they announced their nominations, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago when we were this recording. So I want to quickly go through his nominations, and I want you guys to tell me, would you give him the Oscar that year? Because he's been nominated for quite a hefty amount. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. All right. For 1995, Best Cinematography, The Shawshank Redemption. Would we give him the win for that year in particular?
No.
Okay, because what won that
I wouldn't
year,
give it to what won, but I would give it to someone else.
Legends of the Fall.
Yes.
That is an interesting take. Malcolm, what about you? Would you give it for Shawshank Redemption? Do we respect the movie enough to give it to him for that?
I would.
You would? No. Well, I'm curious. Would it be Forrest Gump or Three Colors?
What else was nominated?
Three Colors Red.
Three Colors Red. Excuse me. Three Colors Red. Would you give it to that one? I'm guessing.
That is what I would give it to.
Okay. All right. I've only seen parts of Three Colors Blue, so I need to see.
I haven't seen the whole movie, but the cinematography, like I've seen a lot of moments from that movie and stills, and the cinematography in that is like, no.
Oh no, I agree. For one of my classes in college, we looked at Three Colors Blue, like a nice 10-minute opening sequence, and the way they had a reflection in an eyeball. The way they lit that perfectly is utterly breathtaking. Go watch that opening scene for Blue. It is fantastic. So actually, I don't think I would give it to him this year. Deakins, you're great, but I don't think we would. All right, so no, you didn't get it this year. So 1997, and he was nominated for Fargo, and this year what won instead was The English Patient. Do we give it to him for Fargo instead of The English Patient? Because the other nominations were Evita, Fly Away Home, and Michael Collins. I think I would, actually.
I wouldn't. I think
I give it to him. I give it to him because Fargo is gorgeous and snow is hard to shoot.
It's stupidly hard to shoot. I'm not opposed to The English Patient winning, but I would not be opposed to giving it to Fargo. Do you still think The English Patient should be the one, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Okay, well, because I have not seen Fly Away Home, but Michael Collins, I don't think I'd give it to Michael Collins. All right. So actually, I think Fargo might be the appropriate one, but I'm not being mad at English Patient for winning. All right, now this is a movie I have not seen, and that is Kundun. I believe, did I say that right? Or Kundun?
Kundun.
Kundun. Second time's the charm. All right, so you got the nomination for that one. And why is IMDb all over the place? Where is... There it is. Okay, and can we guess what won instead? 1997. Titanic.
I have the list up, so I guess that's not a guess.
I was about to say, great guess. How'd you get it, Ryan? Okay, now this is interesting because Titanic is a force of nature. Do we do that at all? Do we want to take that away from Russell Carpenter?
No, I think Titanic deserved the cinematography that year.
Because this is actually a kind of
there's
baller lineup. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say there's nothing that I think that Titanic is deserving enough. Because maybe LA Confidential is what he maybe gave it to, but I don't give it to Deakins regardless. I mean, Kundun is it's a pretty movie, but I don't know. No, I mean that's a movie that suffers from the fact that absolutely nobody has seen that movie.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
and I mean with Titanic that year, especially with the fact that the cinematography included a lot of sinking scenes and stuff. Like those are not can't be easy to orchestrate.
I mean, shooting in miniatures like that and then making it look realistic. That's good job on
I think it's a worthy winner.
Oh yeah. All right. And best cinematography for his next one, which was 2001 Oscars. We have the winner of that year was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He was nominated for Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
We still give it. We take it over. We give it to him or don't give it to him.
I wouldn't give it to him. I think Crouching Tiger is deserving, but martial arts movies are just martial arts movies are not easy.
No, that's a great Gladiator might be what I give it to for a second, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is the one that I would. I do agree with that one. So okay, so far
the Academy done good that year.
They did done good. They did done real good. Did done real good. Okay, so the 4 we've seen so far, he's only Fargo's one we would give for. Okay, he is very consistent. I keep forgetting how consistent he is because he got nominated 2001 to 2002, right after each other for another Coen Brothers movie, The Man Who Wasn't There.
Mm-hmm.
And why is IMDb you're so weird? All right, the winner of that year, Fellowship of the Ring. So I think we can agree. Can we hear an argument?
Should have won. Fellowship of the Ring should have won this, and that was good. I'm glad that it did. I will say though, that The Man That Wasn't There is like one of the most beautifully shot black and white movies I've ever seen. So it deserves a lot of accolades, but it was just against a buzzsaw.
No. It deserves the recognition.
What else was nominated that year?
This is actually a really great lineup. I'm not going to lie.
What else was nominated was Amelie, Black Hawk Down, and Moulin Rouge.
Which, that's a pretty good.
Amelie, The Man Who Wasn't There, and Lord of the Rings are all absolutely stunning movies. So.
I also think Black Hawk Down is in there just from the sense of what they managed to accomplish. It's not the same level, but I still am like, that's good. That's good.
And for a musical perspective, I think Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Because Moulin Rouge would be my second out of that lineup.
It's not top tier in my eyes, but it's like, it's these are nominations that I'm not opposed to happening type of thing. It's not like this is bad. And then 2008 comes along. He's nominated twice. Because he's that good. He has a nice lull. Nothing happens, but then boom. He gets nominated twice in the same year for cinematography. I'm sure that's happened before. Don't quote me on that. But that year, There Will Be Blood won instead. Instead of his nominations being No Country for Old Men and The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, 2 beautiful movies. And let's not also forget, other nominations that year were Atonement, where they had that, 10-minute sequence, one take, which is before all this other stuff happened. And in and of itself, it's a gorgeous looking film. I've not seen Driving Bell and the Butterflies, so I can't comment on that. But overall, another great year, I would say.
Yeah, I think him being nominated twice probably split the vote there. I think had only one of them made it, maybe if it was No Country for Old Men, he probably would have had a chance.
I think if you honestly that year, if you stick, if you replace one of the Deakins with a Lubeski nomination, then you have all of the greatest working cinematographers. There are a couple exceptions, but I think that's the big 5. In at least my personal view. And it's just a murderer's row year. I think that There Will Be Blood. Honestly, 2007 is just straight up one of the best years in movies. So it's kind of, you win some, you lose some.
It was a very eclectic year.
And I think that, between No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood, I really don't have that much of a preference. So I have trouble taking it away.
I do as well. It's not to the point to where I would either take it away. So I think I would let Richard. Oh, what's his name? I just had it up.
Robert Ellsworth.
Robert. Nope, I got it even wrong with the first name. I would let him have it for There'll Be Blood. But my personal preference actually is Jesse James or Robert Ford. I'm not sure how we're abbreviating it, of those two. I think that is a gorgeously shot, but they're both gorgeous. It's Deakins, so it's hard to, it's hard to, pick a bad one. But then we have 2009 and we have The Reader, the year right after. And he shared it with Chris Minges, which I did not know about this at all. Which he did Michael Collins, so was also nominated. Do we dare give it to him for The Reader? Which just as reference, why did they completely change?
Do you want me to read off the nominees?
If you have it, I can't find. There we go.
I have the whole list in front of me for like.
Oh well, then I'm about to say, take it away. Then save us time, Ryan.
So Slumdog Millionaire won that year. Anthony Dodd Mantle. Also nominated Changeling, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and the movie that rightfully should have won, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I think if there was any nomination from a technical chief besides sound, cinematography, I think, is one that is rightfully deserving for The Dark Knight from a technical standpoint.
Like, it's a better looking film than Slumdog Millionaire is. I don't understand. Like, visually, it's a better looking film.
Yeah,
which is what you're evaluating in cinematography. Anyway, whatever.
So
bygones be bygones, but we're not giving it to Deakins.
No, not this year. What do you think, Malcolm?
I mean, I've kind of got no opinions on this. The only one I've seen is, I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know it wasn't like, well, it wasn't the strongest year in my mind, but oh well, you can't win. You win some, you lose some. All right, bring us to the next one.
To the Murderer's Row of cinematography. The next one is the Oscar year 2011, year 2010. This year, Roger Deakins did the movie True Grit with the Coen brothers. Winner was Wally Pfister for Inception. Also nominated Black Swan, The King's Speech, and The Social Network.
Jeez, that's great cinematography right there. That's really good on all accounts.
Yeah.
This might be controversial. I might give it to Jeff Cronenweth instead of Wally Pfister, but that's just me because Social Network is a gorgeous, gorgeous film.
Yeah. If I'm going to give it to somebody that isn't Wally Pfister or Roger Deakins, I'm going to give it to Matthew Libatique for Black Swan.
Yeah,
but
that's a good choice.
Either way, like, again,
this is a great year for cinematography.
It is.
Although I'm going to say this sound real bad. I think Deakins was my 5 this year out of the cinematography. And that's not saying anything bad about it. It's just, it's not, True Grit cinematography is not as striking as stuff he has done prior. In fact, of like maybe some other ones he hasn't even been nominated for, I would think. It's good. Yeah. No, it's really good, but it's not the same type of wow factor as some of these other films this year have. So I would not give it to him this year. And then, okay. This is okay. Take us to this next one then, Ryan.
Malcolm, did you have a take on that one before we move on? All right. The 2012 year, 2013 Oscars, Roger Deakins was nominated for Skyfall. The winner that year was Life of Pi, also nominated Anna Karenina, Django Unchained, and Lincoln.
Ryan, what do you have, actually?
I would 100% have given this to Skyfall.
Agreed. I'm not even the biggest James Bond fan, and that cinematography is still the best-looking James Bond film I have seen to date. Even though I've only seen like 5. So, Malcolm, what do you think?
I mean, I actually disagree. Even though I like the look of Skyfall, I think the way that Life of Pi looks, it looks amazing.
No, I do agree. That's
But
my
see,
number 2 that year.
the thing about Life of Pi is that it's all fake. Like, it's not like that's a lot of in-camera work. So the cinematographer is really not doing that much. Like, he might be advising on CG lighting, but it's not as like Skyfall. Honestly, if the fight scene in the like office building in Shanghai doesn't win that Oscar alone, like I don't, or the fire and the church on Skyfall Manor at the end, like I don't know what to do anymore. If these things don't win Oscars, like, I feel for Roger Deakins at this point, because it's kind of like, what do I need to do?
What I noticed specifically is there's usually, not all the time, but there's always usually a strong correlation between cinematography and visual effects when there is a very critically acclaimed visual effects heavy film in the mix.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to another one in a second. But
and then which also was ultimately a boon for Deakins in the end. But other than that, yeah, Skyfall definitely is the cake for me. Takes the cake, excuse me. Is the cake. No, it is the cake.
All right. So 2013, the 2014 Oscars, Roger Deakins was nominated for Prisoners, and he lost to Emmanuel Lubezki for the first time for Gravity. Also nominated The Grand Master, Inside Llewyn Davis, and Nebraska.
That's another great lineup right there.
Especially, we're gonna get into it. We're getting into a murderer's row.
Yeah, we are. Okay. So now you had a comment prior again about the visual cinematography that they had. I watched a behind the scenes thing regarding, and you might have watched as well too, where Lubezki was there with Cuarón, like for the entirety of this, advising shots and how it looked and what the feel was. Of course, Cuarón had ultimately final say, but Lubezki was there for most of the time, because most of the time when they were inside, it was real. And I do think Prisoners is the better looking film in my mind, but technically from an achievement, Lubezki, I think, deserved that. But if Deakins takes it for Prisoners, that's my number 2, and is probably one of my favorite films of that year, if not of the decade. But
I'm gonna give Lubezki Oscars over Deakins going forward here, but like, and to be fair, I haven't seen Gravity still, so I'm limited to what I have seen of the movie to judge it by.
Wait, hold up! How did I not know this? I didn't know this. You've not seen Gravity? Wow. Okay.
I have not. And Cuarón is one of my favorite directors, so it's not as if there's a particular reason I'm avoiding this, but I just haven't seen it. I own the movie. I own it on Blu-ray. I haven't seen it. But regardless, we move on.
Okay. All right.
I just think Prisoner, like, from what I've seen, which is a lot because they show clips of Gravity constantly, like, it's just not as nothing about the cinematography in that film particularly inspires me. Whereas I feel like Prisoners is a movie that's like built around its cinematography in like a really like visceral way.
Face.
And like the scene where he's like running to the hospital, and like that car chase is like one of the most intense things ever, and it's all based on how that scene is shot.
I can't. Well, actually, hold. I can. I am more critical of you for not seeing Gravity than I am critical on you for choosing Deakins over this one, because yes, I do think Deakins is my number 2 that year. In fact, also Brunel Debonel. The L's, the first L is silent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, this is why we have Ryan for his thoughtful comments and his pronunciation of words. I do think Inside Llewyn Davis is also an underrated looking film. It is so gorgeous looking. So is The Grand Master too, from another technical standpoint. But yeah,
note how many Coen brothers have appeared on all of these lists that we've discussed so far.
They have a look for their films. They know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And so, okay. So please tell me you have seen Gravity, Malcolm.
If that's what you want me to say, I will.
Guys!
I haven't seen any of these movies nominated for cinematography.
Okay, pause.
Wait, you haven't seen any of those movies?
Pause. Okay, you know what? Homework. We are giving Malcolm homework for today, ladies and gentlemen. Malcolm, you're okay. You know what? I'm giving Ryan homework too. Okay, Ryan, before the end of this month. Okay, you know what? I'll be kind. Before the end of February, so you can catch up on all your Oscar films. Watch Gravity. All right, okay, Malcolm.
I'll watch Gravity.
I will find a way to get you to watch Gravity in some way, shape, or form. Or Prisoners. In fact, no. Watch Prisoners, I would say, as a film. It is vastly superior to Gravity. While I do adore Gravity, Prisoners is like one of my favorite films of the decade. So I'm going to make sure you see that. That's on your list. Wow. I can't go on anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I can't go on. We're gonna move on.
You can, because we're going to advance to 2014, the 2015 Oscars.
Oh, my heart. You guys broke it.
So this year, Roger Deakins was nominated for the movie Unbroken.
Yeah.
Winner that year was Emmanuel Lubezki. Again, this is going to become a trend. For Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Also nominated, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Ida, and Mr. Turner.
All right. I think Birdman takes it.
I mean, for me, as much as I like Birdman, I actually think it should have been The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay, I could see that as well too. I might technically have. That's one I'd be okay with, just from the uniqueness of how it is. Plus,
yeah, I think that's a fair pick. I haven't seen Unbroken, so
it's good. And I think Deacon's cinematography elevates it as well, because it's also, I've only seen 2 of her films, but it's also Joey's best work out of the 2 films.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I mean, but Birdman, it was particularly clever shooting that I think won that Academy Award. So but I would, if they gave it to Robert Yeoman for Grand Budapest Hotel, a movie that I don't like very much, I would have been perfectly fine, because that movie is very well shot.
It is visually a treat, I will say. All right, that was easy.
All right, 2015. Woo. Roger Deakins nominated for Sicario. Winner that year, for the 3rd time in a row, Emmanuel Lubezki for The Revenant. Also nominated, Carol, The Hateful Eight, and Mad Max: Fury Road.
That is the trifecta that Lubezki's taken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
also the greatest cinematography of the decade. This movie, I'm sorry. This year is an absolute murderer's row, and the best movie won. So
you know what? As much as I don't care for The Revenant, I cannot argue against the best cinematography of the decade. The way they use natural lighting, and they will let you know they use natural lighting. They won't let you forget
natural lighting.
I ate an actual buffalo bison's heart. Or liver, or whatever he did. Yeah, but no, it is literally in the conversation. But this is also so great. I can't Sicario, also fantastic. That shot is still ingrained in my head of all the agents walking as the sun disappearing into the shadow. That image is still ingrained in my brain to this day. So good.
Yeah. And each one of these movies has an indelible image. And I don't even like Carol that much. It's a movie that I want to revisit because critics that I really love this movie. But all of these movies have such wonderful imagery. And Mad Max too. Obviously, I'm sure that we all love Mad Max: Fury Road, and
right, Malcolm?
Stunning cinematography.
No.
You don't what?
I'm not a big fan of Mad Max: Fury Road. I agree that the cinematography is great, but I really wasn't. I just thought the movie was just drag.
This is what this turned into is a revelation of our actual opinions upon movies that we didn't realize prior. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we can. Well, would you give it to Fury Road, or would you let The Revenant stay as is, Malcolm?
I mean, I've never seen The Revenant, so it's really hard to give a fair assessment.
Right. It's does it put down as true.
Well, as we've all learned, there are movies that we all have not seen. So
Yes, that is true. I'm just
except
glad.
Manning, who I don't think Manning, who hasn't had a hole so far.
Well,
so
trust me, we're gonna get to it soon. Because remember, I haven't finished The Hateful Eight, so remember, I've only seen part of it.
Well,
remember we had a discussion a while ago.
The Hateful Eight.
I should, but it's so long. I finished Irishman, so you know what? But I had to for work. All right, not work. This isn't work.
And then Roger Deakins wins in 2017. Also nominated Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and The Shape of Water.
Opa! Wait, okay, nope, I've seen all those. Just kidding. I thought this was another. Well, again, a lot of my knowledge years before, I can't tell you. That's why. Because I haven't seen, like, some of those older movies. I haven't seen Kundun. So basically, overall, okay, Malcolm, did you give him for anything besides 2049?
I don't think so.
Shawshank. You said Shawshank.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shawshank would, so in some way, shape, or form, he would already have an Oscar for the three of us were on deciding anything. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
So Fargo, Shawshank, and Skyfall, I think, are the ones most people will be like, okay, this is how he should have probably won in some way, shape, or form prior. So, but yeah, Roger Deakins, the Godfather, not the Godfather, but one of the pinnacles, as I like to call him, Father Deakins of cinematography. Thank you for blessing us. Which brings us to our ASC nominations for 2020 have been announced for cinematography, ladies and gentlemen. And your 5 nominees are, to no one's shock, this could be our Oscar 5. I am not kidding. Roger Deakins, 1917.
Mm-hmm.
Why have I been cursed with this inability to pronounce words that are not in the English, that are not in the traditional English American way of pronunciation? Why am I so bad at this? Findon Papa Michael? Nope.
Fedon Papa Michael.
Fedon Papa Michael. But Fidon, but that's a PH. Wouldn't that be Fidon or?
Well, PH makes a F sound.
Didn't I say Fedon?
Did you?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I say.
I know. It's a Greek name. Okay.
It is. See, okay. Fidon Papa Michael, Ford v Ferrari, Rodrigo Prieto?
Yep.
Prieto or Prieto? Okay. One of Rodrigo, The Irishman, Robert Richardson, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Lawrence Sher, Joker. Oh, man, this is just sad for me. I have to apologize, guys. Some of the stuff, a couple, anything were we shocked by, or was this kind of like the 5 we're thinking it's probably going to be?
I'm not really shocked by any of these ones.
Because this seems like a very much, and again, this is 1917, Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Joker. I'm going to quickly look up the correlation between the guild and then the actual Oscars themselves, because there's usually, it's actually pretty solid if I recall. So give me a hot second. Ooh.
I think this is most likely the Oscar 5. It strikes me that that's how that's going to go.
Because
even though I definitely would put in Little Women over Joker, like that's kind of a weird one. And I mean, I definitely would put in, well, and I definitely would find a place for Parasite, but
that's what I was about to say. If there's anyone that's going to break in, depending on how much they love Parasite, Parasite could be the one to go to make it in. And they don't have like a list. There is no Wikipedia page. There's no like way for me to just check what they've won in the past, and that's very unfortunate. I can't click do that. Shame. Why? What is no stop? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Past winners? Like, what do you want?
Past winners. There's not more nominations than anything else.
This is a good question.
Because I can't. I'm looking it up, and I can't seem to find it. Found it. All right, it's just a super long thing that I'm not going to. It says the American Society of Cinematographers Award for Outstanding Achievement in Cinematography and Theatrical Releases. That's why I couldn't find it, because they spell out everything. All right, so what I'm looking at the year prior. Oh, this is strange. Cold War won over Roma.
It did, yes.
I remember because I
remember being angry about that.
Yeah, that's what I remember too. You were angry. That's what I remember more than anything else. The Favorite, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. Okay, now looking back, either there is a total 5 correlation, or there is one that misses. The one exception being 2013, when we had 7 nominees. So we had a 3-way tie in some way, shape, or form for that year, which was Gravity, 12 Years a Slave, Captain Phillips, Grandmaster, Llewyn Davis, Nebraska, and Prisoners, which those 5 eventually made it. Every other year, for the 2000s, most of the time, everything makes it. So I think your safe bets are like 1917, Ford v Ferrari, Hollywood, and maybe Irishman. Throw in Joker coming in and out, possibly. Because although First Man was nominated and it didn't get, First Man got nominated for the AC, but the ASC, but didn't make it for the Oscars, which was a travesty. Utter travesty. Yeah. But also,
they gave it to Mudbound instead for some reason.
I think that's great, but I do consider First Man over Mudbound. I will admit that. But also, Deakins.
Oh wait, wrong year. Wait, sorry, they gave it to Never Look Away.
Oh yeah, that
was another foreign movie.
I would agree with that one actually. But Deakins has won 4 ASCs, so I think he's about to win a 5th, and tie with Lubeski. So,
wow,
that's going to be a. That is what we have called again a murderous row, because he won for Skyfall. So
that is a rivalry. AF.
That is a rivalry if I've ever heard one. But yeah, do we think that will be the 5? If we're being honest all here, or are we thinking for something to upset or coming in out of nowhere?
Again, I think that a Parasite sneaks in, or Little Women sneaks in. One of the two.
Okay, well, with that out of the way, we're going to move right on to Golden Globes predictions, because those are happening tomorrow, or I guess when this is coming up tonight, right before they happen. So we're going to see how terribly and utterly wrong we possibly are, because we know nothing. Or do we know everything? I don't know. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, grab up your Gold Derbies or your Simple Pages Microsoft Word document, because or notes, I'm not sure what you use, but whatever you use, pull them up, because we are going to compare notes, and we are going to see exactly how close we are to what will actually happen, or what we think, possibly might happen, or actually what possibly might happen, or what actually will happen. That's what I was trying to say. There we go. All right. So we're going to start off with Best Song. Do you two gentlemen have your things open?
Yep,
I do.
All right. So, the suspense is killing me. All right. So I'm going to go for something completely different. I currently have winning, and the nominations are, for those unaware, Into the Unknown, Stand Up, Spirit, Beautiful Ghost, and I'm Gonna Love Me Again. I have currently winning, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man.
You are not wrong.
Am I wrong?
I'm going for something different to that. I think Into the Unknown's winning.
Oh, I don't want that. I really don't want that to default. As much as I love that song, I do not want that winning the Oscar. Oh, I know Ryan hates it.
I love it more than I love it more than the Rocket Man song.
Oh, I don't agree with that one. I can't agree with that one. I'm sorry. You're sorry, Malcolm. You're on an island for that one. But we can all agree it's not Cats.
It's not Cats.
Or could it?
If that happens,
I don't care. I don't care how much they like Taylor Swift. It's not Cats.
That'd be the laughing stock of society. But no, I think okay. So, but right now my number 2 is Into the Unknown. That could utterly default, but I feel like Elton John being up there to accept that award would be a very foreign press move. That makes sense.
I have Spirit in my number 2 spot, but
Beyonce up there just makes just as much sense too. All right, so we're going best score next. Ryan, tell us what the nominees are, and then if we are right there with you for number 1.
The nominees are 1917, Joker, Marriage Story, Little Women, and Motherless Brooklyn. And I have not seen all of these movies or listened to all of these scores, and I'm just going to give it to 1917 because I want to believe that movie will win more things, and I've heard the score is good.
I concur, but Malcolm, what do you concur with?
I also concur. I put 1917.
And I also have 1917 up there as well. I think this is Thomas Newman's year. I'm going to call it now because
look at that.
I don't think there's been a score this year that is kind of like. There's no La La Land this year, if that makes any sense. Because
no, there is not.
Now listen, if you talk about a best score of the decade, that's on the conversation right there. But also, Little Women's score I've been listening to for some time. Really, really good. Really, really good.
La La Land score is the best score of the decade.
So yeah, that's why I said it's been the conversation. I need to see what else. I don't remember, but that's one that comes to my head automatically. All right, so best foreign language film. Malcolm, you take it away.
The nominees we have is Parasite, The Farewell, Pain and Glory, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Les Miserables, which apparently isn't based on the book by Victor Hugo.
Is it not like a modern adaptation? Is it just not even?
I don't know. It was something someone said yesterday. Apparently, it's not related to that book. But anyway, I think it's safe to say Parasite's winning this, with Farewell being a close second.
I think I agree with that completely.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure, Ryan? It's Les Mis and the winner for best foreign language film.
You could put so much money on Parasite and feel perfectly comfortable and safe in your home. So
I'm probably gonna just make a couple of bets and be right back. Yeah.
Yep.
This is
the lock of the night.
Yeah, and I'd be shocked. I'd be utterly shocked otherwise. There's nothing.
Let's give it to like Pain and Glory, which is a great movie, by the way. But
no, that's what I have not seen yet. Pain and Glory. That did not come out near me, and I'm sad. Anyway, best animated feature. Your nominees are Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, The Lion King. I don't know why I still find that funny. Missing Link and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Because Disney keeps saying it's not, and then look where it is. Here we go. Your winner, in my mind, defaulting because there apparently is no passion in this category. Toy Story 4. I don't want it to be the case, but that's what I got.
Yeah, it should be How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Should be,
but
agreed.
It will be Toy Story 4 because there's no justice in the world.
Says the lawyer.
I'm taking the bold prediction, and I'm going to curse the Goat Globes again. I'm going to say Lion King.
Oh no!
Because that's a totally close thing to do.
Imagine how awkward Jon Favreau would be there. Like it's not an animated feature, guys. And we're also
I know.
It
I'm
is.
like, it is, John. It is. Go work on Mandalorian season 2.
Please.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think. Okay. Do we all want Hidden World to win? I don't know your opinion on Hidden World, actually, Malcolm.
I mean, I liked Hidden World, but out of these 3, it's still below Frozen 2 and Toy Story 4.
Oh! The button to kick
Look,
you off is so close.
The reality is that none of those films are very good. It just Hidden World is dramatically better than the others. Like they're all kind of bad, but but it's just better than.
Okay, you know what? I'm kicking you both out right now. This is I will not have this here.
Hey, I supported you on Frozen 2, so
you did. Okay, you know what? You cancel each other out. I'll keep you both around. There you go. All right, best film screenplay. Bring it up, Ryan, for this one.
Best film screenplay. Nominees are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Marriage Story, The Irishman, and The Two Popes.
Hey.
And I think, as much as it hurts me because I think one movie should win this, I just think that they're going to try and spread the love around a little bit, and I think they're going to give it to Marriage Story.
I agree, actually.
I think Marriage Story is deserving of this over the other ones.
Although I will say, I can see Hollywood possibly taking this as well too. I don't know.
Oh, if the world were just, Hollywood would win. But
wow. If the world were just, Parasite would win, Ryan. Oh. I mean, also,
better written than Parasite.
No, just watch. It's going to be the
Civil War.
Just watch. It's going to end up being the Irishman and Two Popes, just the spider. So,
hey, you know what? Two Popes.
You know what? Either of those would be fine. It's just I mean, realistically, I just want Quentin Tarantino just to win more. So it's really sort of selfish, but
it's about to say. No, I think Two Popes would be a really cool choice, and I don't think it would get much love outside, but I think that'd be a fun because listen, they liked it. They nominated it and everything it was supposed to get, so they liked it. So I would not be shocked if that was the one to do it. But right now, Marriage Story for love spread maybe. All right, and take us to film director, Malcolm.
So we've got Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Todd Phillips for Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, Scorsese for The Irishman. I've got Tarantino winning this.
I have Bong Joon-ho. I have Tarantino winning in another way.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, this is. Other than Todd Phillips, I think everybody in this category has a chance. I don't know if enough people have seen 1917, so I don't know how much play that's going to have. But I think that the others are like all have a very legitimate shot. I think that the smart money is on Bong Joon-ho. So I don't know. You know what? I'm going to make this my off the wall pick. I'm going to pick Sam Mendes. Just see how that goes. Because otherwise 1917 isn't really winning anything big. And if it really is that good of a movie, because, like I said, spoils my pick later, but like, I think there's going to be some spreading going on in this Golden Globes.
I think if there's any year to do this, it would be a perfect year to do so because there's a lot of different moments where each film shines more so than the others. All right. Best Film Supporting Actor. Nominations are Brad Pitt, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Tom Hanks, and Anthony Hopkins. So I got Brad Pitt for this. And I think this is where, unless something happens in BAFTA, Brad Pitt starts a role. So
I concur. Even though
I also agree.
Yeah.
even though I do want to see Tom Hanks win and get back into that race.
That's what I saw. That's the movie I was forgetting before we were talking about. I saw Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Holy cow. An hour and 15 minutes into this to remember what it was. I saw Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood finally. I loved it. I adored it. Crying the last 30 minutes. Moving on from that one. Tom Hanks is great. And he's getting nominated for an Oscar, but he's not winning, sadly. But that curse is broken. Knock on wood. So, but yeah, no, I think this is Brad Pitt. Pesci.
I think that I think that if I had to just pick somebody, I would probably pick Al Pacino because he's so good in The Irishman and he's just had a really good year that I just kind of want to put my token in that cup, so to speak. But I think that Brad Pitt is going to get an Oscar this year, and I think that that's a good choice.
Although I wouldn't be upset if Anthony Hopkins somehow comes out of nowhere and wins it.
That'd be
honestly, I wouldn't be upset with any of these. Maybe Joe Pesci would upset me a little bit, and Tom Hanks, we just don't need that. But but either way, all these performances are good. So
yeah, they are all good. I will agree with that.
There's none that are unjustifiable.
And speaking of unjustifiable wins, Ryan, take us to some stuff that could happen over here for supporting actress.
Best film supporting actress. Your nominees are Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Margot Robbie for Bombshell, Annette Bening for The Report, and Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. And last, but certainly not least, as she's likely to win, Jennifer Lopez, whom I am picking.
Yep.
So, J-Lo getting her Golden Globe.
If there's any award show that's going to win, give it to Jennifer Lopez, it's this one. Right here.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins an Oscar this year too. But
I think she's. Oh, I can't. Do you think she's better than Laura Dern?
Well, yes, I do. But well, she's not better than Laura Dern as a general matter. But I think that she is better in Hustlers than Laura Dern is in Marriage Story. Laura Dern is better in Little Women than she is in Marriage Story. So
I agree.
It's befuddling that Laura Dern is being nominated for Marriage Story. But
this feels like... Oh, sorry, Malcolm, you were going to say?
I've got to say I've got Laura Dern winning.
I mean, that's smart. She's the favorite.
Look, I don't hate it. So
it just seems like a weird win for her in her career, is what it is, if this is it.
I mean, is there anything there's bound to be a few weird wins anyway, regardless.
You're right. But it feels more like you're Laura Dern, here's your supporting actress Oscar, we love you, but not like this is the best supporting female actress performance of the year, because Margot Robbie's better than her in Bombshell, and she's right there. No offense, Laura Dern, I love you, but
the only person that doesn't belong here is Annette Bening.
I agree. I very much agree.
Kathy Bates is really good in Richard Jewell too. So it's kind of
all right. So Lopez, if you do this, congratulations. You have redeemed yourself from what's that name?
Geely,
whatever.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right. Take us away, Malcolm.
For best film comedy musical actor, we got Leo for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Roman Griffiths Davis for Jojo Rabbit, Eddie Murphy for Dolomite Is My Name, Taron Egerton for Rocketman, Daniel Craig for Knives Out. I've got Leo winning this.
I would like to hear you before I say anything. What do you have, Ryan?
I want it to be Leo. But I think they're going to give it, and he's not going to be nominated for an Oscar, but I think that Eddie Murphy's going to win the Golden Globe. It's wrong. Leonardo DiCaprio should win it because that is one of the best performances of the year by far, but they're going to give it to Eddie Murphy. I think this is going to happen.
Okay, so hold up. Okay.
I just had to plug in my headphones because these my other ones are dying. The Bluetooth is dying. All right, but I actually have. I'm gonna go off the wall. I have no confidence in this whatsoever, but I got Taron Egerton for coming out of left field. Listen, I know it's not Craig or Griffin Davis. They're happy to be there, but I feel like Egerton has gotten the love he has needed. Rocket Man has seen some type of, not resurgence in some capacity, but some sort of love that has grown just beyond a movie that came out in the summer. And I think this is where some love is going to be shown. And I totally think this could be DiCaprio, this could be Murphy. I think any of these three have a shot. Some of them higher than another, but I'm just going to go off the wall and I'm going to pick Egerton because why not?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Roman Griffith Davis comes out of nowhere and wins this.
They'd have to love Jojo Rabbit, I would think, if that'd be the case. Unless, of course, they don't.
I mean, they clearly loved him enough to nominate him. So, I mean, it's the only nomination Jojo, well, apart from best film comedy, but they didn't really get a lot of love either after the acting. So
that's true. All right, so best film comedy musical actress. Wait, who did it last? You did it last, Malcolm, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Best film comedy musical actress. We have Emma Thompson, Ana de Armas, Beanie Feldstein, Awkwafina, and Cate Blanchett. I have, and I really think this one is, if it's not this one, it'll be indicative of where this movie has kind of fallen this last Oscar season, this last Oscar semester, if you will. But that's Awkwafina. I don't see how it's anyone else, honestly. But what about you guys?
I'm going for an off-the-wall prediction here. I'm going Ana de Armas for Knives Out.
No. Stop hurting me like that, Malcolm. You're hurting me. Ryan?
I think it's Awkwafina. Even though I didn't think that her performance in that movie was particularly good, but it will win this award.
That is the most hurtful thing you have ever said to me, Ryan. Literally. She's literally my favorite female scratch that. Nope. Hold up. Yes, she's my favorite female performance of this year. Wow, you first with Judy, now with this. What is this? You are hurting me in all my performances I've liked this year. Yeah, no, we're gonna leave it at that. All right, so best film comedy musical. I guess Ryan, you can do it.
Ooh, I can do this category?
Yes,
I know who's gonna win.
I think we all do.
The losers are Jojo Rabbit, Knives Out, Dolomite Is My Name, and Rocket Man. And the winner is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is clearly the best movie and clearly one of the top 3 Oscar frontrunners, and rightfully so, because it is the best movie of 2019. So 1917 is the only movie that could prove me wrong at this point. So
I'm trying to find something that's equally as hurtful to say to you as you told me about Awkwafina. So I'm trying to find a way to say it without being too mean. But I'm not clever enough to do it. So I'm gonna have to agree with you at the time being. Yeah, it's walking away with this.
I mean, as much as I think Jojo Rabbit is better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, by a long shot, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is just really overrated. I do think with the fact it was put in this, and I don't believe it belongs in comedy musical personally, but I think it's going to win because it's just been put in here just so it could win. I mean,
it's kind of a hilarious movie. So
it is. I'll give it that.
I didn't laugh once.
Well, okay.
Well, I'm sorry for whoever killed your soul.
Well, on this episode of Fight Club, we're going to continue on now. Malcolm, take us to film, drama, actor.
Film, drama, and actor. We've got Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari, Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes, I think Adam Driver from Marriage Story's got this.
I actually have Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and I think they're gonna want to again spread that love, and I think give it to the most deserving aspect of the movie.
Do you have a Joaquin away with the award?
I have. That was actually really clever. I'm not gonna lie. He said walking away with the award. That's good. That's good. That's real good. I mean, it's good that it's a bad pun, but it's good. It's a good bad pun. All right, I'm sorry, Ryan. What do you have?
I also have Joaquin Phoenix. It should be Antonio Banderas, but I'll give it to Joaquin Phoenix.
I cannot comment upon his deservedness, but you know what? That would be pretty cool. It would also kind of probably boost his, his little Oscar chances a little bit more if someone who's because voting has started now, guys. Let's not forget that voting has started before BAFTA nominations, before PGA, before DGA. They're already voting, and if they see Golden Globes and if Antonio Banderas wins, you're like, "Ooh, I should check this out," because it's not winning.
And it's a really good movie.
It's not winning foreign language film, so this is the best shot it might have, and that'd be cool if it wins. So I'm not opposed to that. All right, so
sure.
Best film drama actress, we have Renee Zellweger, Charlize Theron, Scarlett Johansson, Saoirse Ronan, and Cynthia Erivo. Now this is where it gets interesting because I think it is Renee Zellweger. However, what do you guys think?
I've got Renee Zellweger as well, but I wouldn't be upset if Scarlett wins this.
Would you be upset if Renee Zellweger won, Ryan?
Yeah, I would. I'm gonna go my head is with Renee Zellweger because she's been leading all season, but I want to go with my heart because I just think that somebody has to recognize that movie's not very good, and just like they did with The Wife and why Glenn Close did not win her Oscar, and I understand that she won the Golden Globe, but maybe the Golden Globes are going to be intelligent this year, and we'll find out. I'm gonna pick Charlize Theron because that's a really good performance, and I think it gets them just as many clicks as picking Renee Zellweger. So that's who I'm going to go with. I think the ScarJo pick is really good, but I'm going to go with something different.
I just gotta love that you predicted the Globes are going to be smart. They nominated Lion King and animated, so
it's an animated movie.
It's
an animated movie.
What I find funny is that Disney did not campaign it at all as an animated feature, and yet it still made it. That's what I find that hilarious. Despite that's going to be the running joke of the season. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ricky Gervais comments on that as well.
Oh, he's going to have to. All right, and finally, Ryan, bring us home for best film drama.
Yeah, I got both the big categories. Best film drama. Your nominees are 1917, Joker, Marriage Story, The Irishman, and The Two Popes. For me, I'm going to pick The Irishman. I think this is where it wins that award. One of the big three frontrunners. So,
okay. Now, I do agree, but I'm just realizing something. I don't have it winning anything else but film drama. Does that happen often? Okay. I don't remember.
No, but that just looks like how it's going to be this year.
No, I agree with you. I'm just curious. If anything, I think it brings in Pacino or something like that as supporting. That's the best shot I think it might have.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have Irishman too, with the off chance of 1917 coming back in. But yeah,
I've actually got Marriage Story on this one because I think there's and I've probably switched my predictions for actor all over the place a lot of the times, but I think if Adam Driver and ScarJo don't win their respective categories. I think this is where that you get them on stage. So I think drama could win drama.
So currently, correct me if I'm wrong, you have both the screenplay, actor, actress, and the film going to Marriage Story, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
So Malcolm really thinks Marriage Story is the film.
I was about to say.
I mean, I didn't take like The Irishman, so.
Oh yeah, but I think this is if they do give it to it. Do we think that it can only win drama? Because I'm trying to think, what won last year? Green Book, right?
No, last year was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, Green Book was comedy. Weird year.
I had to remind you of that, didn't I?
You did.
It beat the likes of Black Panther, Black Klansman, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born.
The more days that go by, the more I really dislike Bohemian Rhapsody. It's unfortunate because I love Queen. I'm sorry, Queen. Okay, all right. So anyway, those are
the Golden Globes haven't picked a Best Picture winner out of comedy musical since 26 or out of drama since 2016.
Wow. Okay. Well, what wasn't 2016?
Getting Bohemian Rhapsody and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay.
So
So they have a track record that doesn't always line up. Okay, so those are our predictions for the Golden Globes that are happening tonight. Yes, tonight, because we're totally recording this on a Sunday. And also, by the time we're back up, you're going to have both BAFTA, DGA, WGA, and PGA. Okay, we're not going to go through all our predictions for those because that's just overkill right there. However, that said, how do I do this in a succinct way that is entirely possible to do so? Because BAFTA's nominations are happening overnight while we're asleep. I'm more than likely thinking that is the case. PGA, does PGA do a straight 10 or is it a sliding scale?
What do you mean?
Because the Oscar does a sliding scale where it's never a straight 10 nominations for Best Picture. It's always, like 7.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Now I understand.
So I don't know if I can't recall.
I don't know.
Because PGA, if there's any cool, they always have like a cool nomination in there that usually happens. Because last year last year their nominations were Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Rich Asians, The Favorite, A Quiet Place, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It looks like it's a straight 10.
Straight 10. Okay.
There was one year that it was 11, but
I guess that was a tie.
Whatever.
I think if the PGA have a cool nomination, it's probably going to be a surprise one for Endgame, if anything.
I think if there's anywhere for it to happen, this is the place it'll happen. Because it's not going to be Star Wars. Not anymore.
No, it's not.
I think Endgame, because I guess, Black Panther was that one that kind of transcended both,
Yeah.
for quality as well as,
A Quiet Place was a quality film.
Oh, I see.
Here.
Oh, no, it is. I meant
with the shade.
Award. Quiet Place was my third favorite film of that year. It was. I agree. I meant more like had the. Let me rephrase that. It had the financial acclaim, or for the financial gain, success. Thank you. And a quiet and the award attention. Awards attention is what I meant to say. The Quiet Place is great. If that made it in for, picture that year, I'd be thrilled. But alas, we do not live in a world where that is. We live in a world where Bohemian Rhapsody made it in, and too much, way too much.
Talking about the Quiet Place, what did you think of the trailer?
Oh yeah, the trailer came out.
I have not seen it.
I am on board with this, with their concepts that they are going on. So I am fully invested in what they are possibly be doing. All right, so let's quickly just go through what PGA possibly could do. All right, so if they have a straight 10, okay, let's be honest. I'm about to say Green Book. That's not happening again. We are going to have Parasite, Hollywood, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, and then 1917. And then I'm missing one big one. Marriage Story. Those 6, I think, are safe-ish.
Is Parasite eligible?
Because Roma was nominated.
Well, yes, but that's not.
Is it not?
Parasite was Well, you have to be in the Producers Guild of America.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
And I don't know who produced Parasite. So,
who produced Parasite? That is a great question. Because that'd be a travesty if it wasn't.
I know Mikey Lee and a bunch of Korean people.
I have no idea. I mean, Bong Joon-ho has to be in,
I mean, he doesn't have to be, but
no, but
he might be.
He might be. So, okay, well, if the only way Parasite misses is if it's not eligible, I would think.
Yes.
So let's not. If it doesn't make it, let's not all freak out. We'll need to investigate that further. And then but I think those are the safe ones at this time. I would think. And then DGA, what would we get for DGA? Probably. I mean, we have Scorsese, we have Mendes, we have Tarantino, we have Bong Joon-ho, and then does Baumbach make it, and that just becomes your 5, or are we gonna have someone else come in?
I do not know.
Because you also have, on the outskirts, you have Greta Gerwig throw her hat under the table. Or maybe...
that would be nice.
That would be real nice.
Taika Waititi would be a nice one.
I could see him coming in out of nowhere if they like Jojo Rabbit. It would have to be someone out of nowhere, honestly, because it's not... It's not what's we're looking for. It's starting to shape out as we continue. It's not the fluctuating as it once was. There is usually a 5 or a 6, and it's starting to form. So I'd be shocked if any of the big ones could get out. Honestly, that we have. We have producer. We have BAFTA. If there's any movie that's going to be loved there, I think 1917. Right, that's the one that they would love. I would think.
Two Popes maybe will probably be really loved.
Two Popes. That is a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, a fun little thing that I heard on Twitter, if I can find it real fast before we close up. It was, I believe it was Mark Harris. Here we go. On his Twitter specifically was saying, in an interesting behind the scenes look right now, and Mark Harris is a political journalist. Oscar nomination balloting ends in 4 days. 4 days, guys. And this was today that he sent this out. And this is the only potential Best Picture Director nominee. I have not heard a single voter trash in his circle that he has heard so far. And he showed a picture of Parasite. Here are the trashings, by the way, that he has heard so far. The shortcomings from what people are saying. Irishman, too long, didn't watch. Once Upon a Time, of course, LA loves it. And why New York voters aren't still thrilled with it. Little Women, again, people were saying 1917. People are calling it a gimmick. Marriage Story, it figures that New York loves it from the LA voter side, so that's the other coin. Joker, well, Phoenix is great, but... And then Jojo Rabbit, a shrug or an eye roll. So these people seem like lovely individuals he's talking to. And this doesn't, he goes on to say, this doesn't portray anything, this doesn't mean anything bad for these movies. Every serious contender generally inspires a backlash. I'm bringing it up only because it's unusual for a movie to get this far in the race without one, and Parasite has managed it. So that is something to keep in mind, just from someone from the inside who has talked with a little bit of some people. But yeah, that's all I have right now. At the moment, do you guys have anything you want to add real fast before we start to wrap up?
No, I think that's a good show.
Okay, all right. We're gonna wrap it up right now, but before we continue off and sign off, before we get to next week when we have so much we're gonna be talking about. Wow, it's gonna be a jam-packed show. We are going to tell us where they can find us and what we will be doing. So, Malcolm, where can the people find you, and what will we be doing?
You can find me on Take 3 Productions hosting Random every week. You can also find me hosting Formula Random all the time over on Full Metal. And as for what I'm doing, I'm probably going to be trying to seeing either Little Women, Peanut Butter Falcon, Cats, or The Gentleman.
Good luck for Cats. And Ryan, where can they find you, and what will you be watching and doing?
You can find me anywhere you want to find people at RMcKenna19, and letting everybody knowing that we're not going to be in World War III anytime soon. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Like, just keep it easy. I'll be watching Gravity, apparently. I have some homework.
Yes, you do have homework.
And I'm also going to be watching a lot of football over the next couple of days and the Golden Globes. So we will talk next week.
Yes, and two things real fast. One, Abe is currently, while he's not here, he is currently putting together a list of what we call the best of the decade. And that'll be the official Take 3 version, asking certain people who are both part of Take 3 and people that he's asked specifically regarding it. And they will, he's put together this amalgamation, and you will see that later, I believe, this month or the following month. Don't quote me on that because he is not here to give me the details, but look forward to that on this channel a little bit more. Also, go watch Florence Pugh's Instagram. It is the best. Literally, it is hilarious. She did surgery on a cactus. She literally did surgery on a cactus. I mean... Surgery on a cactus. Apparently, one cactus was growing on top of another cactus, and she had to extract said cactus with a butter knife. It's as crazy as it sounds. But yeah, that was the saga of Florence Pugh dissecting a cactus. Or surgery on a cactus. So you heard surgery on a grape, here's surgery on a cactus. Bringing that dead meme back. And you can follow me on Twitter, Cine_man, that's CINE_MANN, as well as my YouTube channel, Manning Franks. And where finally, it took me too long. I had to edit down from 30 minutes to 25, but now we have my new video essay coming out. Well, not this week. Well, yes, this is Sunday, this week. Yes, this is the one. I look forward to that. Also, we will be having our own Gone with the Wind top movies of the decade, our official list that we will have announced sometime later in the future. We have to get that all situated, though, because we got busy lives, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you all. And yes, Rocket Man is still a better movie than Bohemian Rhapsody. And that is our official stance on that. See you guys in the movies.